Welcome to my channel, everyone. Welcome wherever you are, whoever you are, whichever background you're from, whatever age you are. Welcome to my channel. This video is well overdue, well overdue, but I'm actually recording for the second time. This video is not about sea creatures, but this is the best photo that I can actually find, so I thought I'd use this. A lot of us parents, a lot of us people out there, whether you're parents or not parents, you may actually be godparents, you may be somebody's aunt, or you may be somebody's sister, elder sister, or you may be a guardian. Or this video is for everyone and anybody that's actually interested in a quite sensitive topic, which is child abuse. It's very important that in these times, especially these very testing times, that you don't feel anxious or worried that much, as children can pick up lots of what you're thinking of and what you're going through. So it's very important to stay grounded. A lot of people have had many childhood issues with abuse and everything, and things that they've gone through. They actually show, a lot of documents show that it's 1 in 3 people that have been abused in some form, physically, mentally, or verbally, and it's not nice. It's very important in this time that you take the time to center yourself. Okay, it's very important, because if you are not centered, anything that anyone's going to talk to you about, you are no good to yourself. If you're no good to yourself, then you are no good to your children and your families. So just find something that you like, even if it's a bit of reading, writing, drawing, painting, anything, doing something, gardening, anything. Do what you have to do. Let the anxious and worry go. And then it's time, this quarantine time, we are with our families, we are with our children. Loads of you are making life-changing decisions, or are about to. Many of you have been, in most cases, you have been separated or divorced from your husbands, especially, because this video is actually mostly aiming at women and parents, but there may be single fathers out there that are also listening to this video. So many things I say will also go to you as well. What we can be certain of is that our children will be with us, and they are the future generation, and they are the future. So they are an investment, a huge investment, and you yourself, you are the biggest investment you could make on this planet. You are the biggest investment, so you better sort out your reality. You better sort yourself out, and in some cases before interfering in other people's lives. I'm talking about gossip and things. I will be sharing you some personal things with you. I will be sharing some stories with you. So if you're not interested, switch off now. But if you are interested, please watch the rest of this video. There's a family I know, and they brush everything off, like whatever was seen was not seen. Whatever was heard was not heard. I remember growing up, I was told, to be quiet all the time. My opinions in many cases did not matter. But that all changed when I put my foot down. When I got more confidence in most areas of my life. Your children are your children, and no one has the right to mess around with them, okay? One parent families are vulnerable people. There's nothing wrong with being lonely, and there's nothing wrong with sometimes living alone. When you're with children, obviously that's your life, but some people are always out there for adventures and they want more, and they're looking for their soulmates, but they end up, because they are lonely and they are vulnerable, they end up with the wrong person again. My point is, you've got to trust your instincts. Women, men, everyone, especially when you're marrying for the second time, you have got to trust your instincts. Talk to your children, especially children, even if they're teenagers. It matters what they say. It matters what they think. They are going to be with you everywhere. They are still your children. Even a 17-year-old child is a child. Especially everyone under the age of 18. It doesn't matter how maturely you talk. It doesn't matter how much you know or how much you think you know. They are still children at the end of the day. This video, like I said, it's all about abuse. So let's get on with it. So for children, you have to understand, with younger children, they can be easily manipulated with sweets and everything and bribed. One person I know in particular, he offers sweets to his nieces, especially one that he's abusing. And his niece has personally told me some of the things that he has done. And I'm not imagining this, and I'm not making anything up. I have no reason to make it up. This is why I've stopped meeting with the family. I have raised my concerns to that lady, and I've told her, because she is such a wonderful person. But the thing is, she has trusted her brother too much with her daughter. But this daughter in particular, she has been abused by this person for some time. I've spoken to her mother, and I've told her, don't trust your brother. They should not be sleeping in the same room. And that's wrong. And I've mentioned this to her a few times. I don't know if that girl is being abused, and hopefully the abuse has stopped. But now with this quarantine time and everyone's with their families and everyone's now inside with their children, it's time for me to make a stand and tell everyone how I feel and some tips along the way. So if you want to speak to your child, if you really want to know what your children, what they think and what's going on, and if they have been abused, probably one tactic is for them to write things down. People that are not confident in telling you, or they're not ready to say something, you will find that in many cases they will be confident in writing things down. So, okay, so it's like a game that you're playing. So first of all, you can probably start by asking them to write down 3 things that they really like. It could be object, it could be anything. And then you can also move on to the next part and ask them to write down 3 things that they don't like. And then the next stage is to write down 3 things or three things, the names of people or people that they really like, that make them really happy. It could be someone they saw last month or somebody, anybody. It could be anybody. And now for the most interesting and important question. Write down the 3 people that they are not sure about, or 3 people that they do not like, or they think they are strange, or they feel uncomfortable around. This will be the final test. The reason for this, obviously, before playing this this game, you have to tell them that everything is confidential and nobody is allowed to look at anybody's answers, and nobody, if you're playing with more than 2 children, otherwise you can individually play this also. Try this and see what happens. And also you can also have a box. You can have a box at home, or anything at home. It could be a handbag, it could be anything, that you could just lie in a place and you can let the children know if they want to talk about anything. You know, maybe they could write it down on a piece of paper. If anything's bothering them, in private you could talk to them. You could say, if anything's bothering you, then you could write this down. Write it down on a piece of paper and make sure you have like a pen or a pencil handy, and they could just write down whatever their heart's desire and see how it goes from there. This works in most cases, and I hope it works for you. Okay, so the reason why I'm showing this picture is that maybe you can find a similar picture and talk to your children about this, just to educate them. You probably have your own ways of talking to your children, but this is just a tip that you might require. You can go through some parts of the body and say, look, well, which parts are private? They have to know, children have to know which parts are private for both boys and girls, and which parts nobody is allowed to tickle on, and which parts nobody is allowed to touch also, okay? And also it's probably a good idea that, and I know this is going to sound really strange in some cases, but I have seen in some families where the father is actually not fully clothed. You know, if you just even wear some, for example, you know, in some cases, wearing especially in England, where I'm from, people think it's okay if the parents walk around in their underwear near the children. No, that's not right at all, as the shape of the private part shows. So it's not right. Because if you're doing it in front of your children, okay, and other things also, when the abusers are going to be doing it, it's going to seem perfectly normal. It's not, and it should be forbidden. This is the reason why it should not be this is the reason why it should be forbidden in the first place. Okay, especially, and also girls at a certain age, they should be having showers by themselves. After a certain age, say 8 years old or 9 years old. 8 years old or 9 years old girls should not be, the fathers or the father figures should not be allowed to be giving baths to girls at that age anyway. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but through my experience and what I've seen, I will say it's not wise to wear fewer clothes in the house. Okay, especially if you have teenage boys, they do notice everything, and girls and boys, they do notice each other, okay? Yes, it's quite perfectly normal, but look at what's happening around the world and please listen. Because some people, they are blind. They don't realize the fact that some even clothes that they're wearing, it's having an impact on the teenagers, and they're still children at the end of the day. Many people like that type of attention, not me. Also be careful who you are inviting around, whether it's the milkman or it's the neighbor for a friendly chat. You should always listen to your children, and you should talk to your children about different things, and in the form of drawing or writing. Somewhere some child is, sometimes going to just tell you how they feel, and it's how you react to what they tell you is going to actually affect how much more they are going to tell you. So if a child tells you something, don't immediately just go around telling it to your best friend or calling someone, or everything must be kept confidential in the beginning. You have to be really, really careful what you say and how you say it, and how you react if somebody tells you that they have been abused, or if something's happened. Because perhaps, I'm not saying it happens to everyone, but perhaps your child is being abused by your partner or your brother or your uncle or your neighbor or somebody that you trusted. Just trust your instincts. Always trust your instincts. And don't be angry. Don't be angry with your children. The more anger you show your child, the less they are likely actually to go up to you and tell you things. Which is why some of the reasons why some children get abused, they're easily abused, because their parents don't listen to them. If their parents and guardians aren't going to listen to them, then who is going to listen to them? Every child matters. Every child matters. Okay? Every life matters. Every child matters. And if you save one life, it is as if you have saved the whole human race. Remember this. Take care, everyone. I look forward to your comments. Take care and peace out.